It's a voiceover. Good morning. Please like, please subscribe, please share the videos. Right, this is Saturday running into Sunday. Right, so yeah, what's happened here? We were actually in the house. In fact, I think it were in afternoon this. We were just getting something to eat and it was very, very windy and I heard this big noise and I thought, what was that? And I didn't really bother looking. I think Joveline went outside to look. It sounded like the wind had blown something over. And no, this wood's that rotten. You know, with all the ants and the termites, it's just rotten. It's been there about a year and a half, 2 years. Actually, it's been there about 2 years, this little bit of plywood. And see the tile, there's a tile in the bottom and it went bloodush, it made a noise. And that's what it were. And I said to Joveline, wow, it's a good job we're here, because if we wasn't here, one of the dogs, you know, if it were late at night and we were out, one of the dogs would have fallen there and she would have drowned. And I thought about this a lot and I thought, I need to get this sorted. And well, we just didn't have a budget to sort it out, to be honest. But now it's got to get sorted, and Joveline's just giving it a clean. And what she does, this is the septic tank, so it's a tank, but we don't use it, we've never used it, so only the water that's in there is clean water. It's just like bath water, soap water, and it's clear and it's fresh water and groundwater. So, you know, it's good for the plants. But we don't use it for the plants, but, you know, we could use it for the plants because it's quite good water and it's clean. So what we're going to do, well, what Joveline's going to do is she decides she wants to empty it. And it's a good 5 or 6 foot deep from the water, a good 5 foot under. And, you know, our papaya, she blew down, which is a real pity because we've got fruit, and now we've got fruit, it's gone, so we don't have any fruit. So that's fruit missing out of the diet. Now this is ginger, and it's organic ginger and takes a long, I've dug it up 3 times this in last what, it must be 5 months just to check it. And I've managed to get a little bit of ginger off it, you know, a good half a cup of ginger. And I've took the ginger off, and I'll show you later on what's happening with the ginger. So what I'm decided to do is I've actually dug a trench. Now I don't know if I've done a video of the trench, so have a look. Well, there's a trench there and I'm actually throwing the leaves in the trench. And what I'm going to do, see the trench at the side? I'm actually going to walk over them, stand on them, and then crush them down. And then I'm going to get the spade, and I'm going to chop them all up, and put soil on top, and I'm trenching them, because it's absolutely fantastic. Compost. And, you know, that's what I decided to do, you know, with the compost. So all the leaves off the papaya I'm using for compost. If there's any dead leaves around, I'm using them for compost. So that's what's happening. I'm trenching these leaves, and then I'm going to just dig them in, and then I'm going to put the soil back on top. It'll be a little bit high, but once it's rained, about 2 months time, it will actually fall and drop. Now, you guys that don't know a lot about gardening, this is the best fertilizer. You cannot buy anything on the planet as good as leaves or grass, dead grass. And, you know, you can't beat greens for compost. You know, no chemicals, just greens. And what the worms do, the worms will actually eat these leaves when they start to rot down, and then you'll get your lovely, absolutely fantastic, very, very black soil, and it's or brown soil, sandy soil, and it will be actually very, very good soil, very nutritious for your plants. So you don't need to feed your plants. And I've actually dug lots and lots of leaf mould into all my garden. Has got absolutely tons of leaf mould. So I'm going to dig this in. I reckon about 2 months' time, it will have actually rotted, hopefully, and then I can actually plant something in there. Now, maybe some ginger, bitter fruit, string beans. It would be nice to plant some sweet potatoes, but we haven't got any. So that's what I'm doing, look. You can see it's trenched, it's chopped down, and then what I'm going to do is put some soil over it. And then later on I actually go for a walk to get some sticks, because I need some sticks, and I'm going to put a frame around this little bit of garden, because I've made this garden wider to the front. Where the leaves are, that's all new garden, and that's why I decided to trench it. I were actually going to leave the leaves, so the leaves actually got, till they actually died off, but I thought, well, I've got all these leaves all over the garden, I'm just going to put them in anyway, because they're all over the place and it looks untidy. So all these greens are going under the ground, and like I said, guys, the soil is absolutely beautiful. When this rots down, the soil will be absolutely lovely for growing. Can't beat it. Best compost, no fertiliser, so which is not very good anyway for your soil. After a while it becomes poisonous, chemicals become poisonous to the soil. So that's what I'm doing. I'm actually, going to fill this in a moment, and I put this to the front as it's a new garden, and then at the back there I'm actually going to put some ginger. Now I've been growing ginger for about, it must be at least 6 months, and it's really, really slow growing. And I grew the ginger from a tiny little piece of ginger, so I got a good few little pieces of ginger what looked like it had a burr on it where a root could come, and they grew. But you need to give your ginger a lot of water, which is hard for us to do. But now the rainy season is here, we can actually plant a lot of ginger. So that's what I'm doing now, look. I'm actually, it's got to be a voiceover because there's so much music going, which is a pity, because it's nice when it's actually, you can hear the wind and the noise. But this part of the video, not a lot I can do about it, So later on, I actually go for some of these sticks, some of these poles, and I'm going to build it up like I said, and I'll do another video on it. Right, so, as you've seen, the electric company's here, and what the electric company is actually doing now, guys, they're actually putting the posts in for the electrical cables. So that's his little garden. Now this is a Saturday, and it runs into today, which is today's actually, sorry, the next video coming up will be Sunday, and I get a chance to actually finish this off. So I finish it off, and Jovelyn is actually draining. She's draining that water tank, and she's there while it's dark, and she nearly drains all the water out of it. So there's a river actually running down the road where she starts to empty all the water. And I said to her, it'll probably just fill back up. As soon as you get a shower or it's raining, you just might get a lot of rainwater, see? She's there actually emptying it. That's Jovelyn's invention. It's a paint bucket on some string, and that's what she does, look. How to empty a tank. So this is clean water in this tank, guys. It's never been used. So like I said, thinking about it, we could have used a lot of this water for the plants in the summer, because we lost a lot of plants, and in the summer water is a premium, and it's very, very hard to actually water your plants, and a lot die because you just cannot get the water. And you can't just keep fetching water from the well, 'cause it actually some of the wells run dry. Now what we got here, one of the culprits, and I managed to get my hands on 4 of these because they're eating all our plants. So we have to dispose of this one and the other 3. So simple as that really. I'm afraid you're going to have to get disposed of. So I've got 2 here, and then I find another 2. And there's evidence all over the garden with all the plants being eaten. So if it's not the snails, it's normally the caterpillars, but I don't kill the caterpillars. I like to see the butterflies. I do not kill the caterpillars, because I love to see the different coloured butterflies. But these guys, I'm afraid, have got to go. So, that's what I've been doing. Monday, I might get back into the garden. So, there'll be another video running up soon. And looks like the carabao's hard at work. I saw this guy come past in the morning. It's the afternoon now, he's going back. So, they're always busy. So, windy, rainy weather, stormy weather, typhoon weather. There's another typhoon coming actually, guys. And like I said, the rain, wow, we have had some really heavy torrential rain. And I'm not joking, really heavy. Joveline's here while it's night and it's dark, and she's determined to empty this. She's determined to empty this tank. So, I'm going to leave her alone and crack on with my job. Good morning! Morning everyone. Looks like the electrical company are back, and they're going to clear a few of the branches away and put some new posts. So I'm going to have a little walk this morning. Good morning, happy Sunday. So we're in typhoon season. So later on, I thought I could hear a motorbike. Later on, I'm actually going to do a little bit of gardening. So I've got a few gardening jobs to do. Don't know what I'm going to plant, but I actually do know. I've made the garden wider, so it's ready to plant. What am I going to plant? Maybe bitter fruit, maybe some string beans, and that's about it really. Should be okay, should be quite nice. So I hope everyone's fine and doing well. Right, so it's a little stroll this morning, and I might just go down into the rice field, see if I can find some nice rocks. Right, so have a great day. Right, so like I said, looks like they're putting another post in there. And this road, wow, it's very sludgy. It's about a foot of sludge. Right, don't look like this motorbike's going through. Right, so it looks like they're drilling, look. So I would say they're drilling at least 5 or 6 foot down. I don't know why that no motorbike don't try and get down outside the field. So, looks. Morning! So that's where the crazy dogs are. So you have to be careful when you're walking past here. So that's what they're doing, look. This morning, they're back. Sunday morning. Yeah, they work Sundays here. So that's it, look. I'm going to have a little walk. Now my feet's sludged up, I'm going to have a little walk. So, that's what's happening here, guys. Electric going in, which is very nice for the province. Absolutely brilliant. Looks like there's a carabao coming down the road. So, he's probably going into the fields to work this morning. Right, that carabao can go anywhere basically. So I don't know where he's going to try and get. Looks like he's going to wait. So he'll have quite a way. But you know that carabao, actually they can just go down the banking like that. Whether he takes it down the banking or not, I don't know. So it looks like the carabao's holded up. Right, it looks like they're off. He's off, look. Like I said, they're quite docile carabaos. It's a good job they are, really. Morning! So it's a good job carabaos are quite docile. So, you know, but he's off. Bye! So it's a good morning from the crew. Right, I'll have a little walk up in a moment. But this is the dangerous dog territory, so we have to be careful. See? Quite deep. You can see now, deep there. Hopefully we can see down there. Quite deep. It's a good 6 foot, I would say. So it's quite deep. Right guys, that's one of our ginger plants. I've actually taken some ginger off. You can see where I've snapped it. And it's organic, so I'm going to replant some of these ginger plants. So I know where they're going. So I've got about 20 now, because we've took some ginger off. They take a long time to grow. So that's what I'm doing. I'm actually going to plant some of this ginger.